You going to jail. Whoa, jail. You're going to jail. Whoa, jail. You're going to jail. Period. Yes. Put all they ass next to R. Kelly. Jail, prison, prison, clank, clank. Rapide.
Baby, from free Tory to getting locked up is crazy.
BBS, I just turned the water on. Big old flex, shit you never saw before. These niggas chasing me like waterfalls. Keeping on my truck, look like brains.
What's up, y'all? It's your sister, Jessie Woo. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. During Black Mama's Month, during Black Women's Haitian Flag, Black Women's Month, okay? How are y'all doing? Hope y'all doing good. Just a friendly reminder, y'all, I did open up just a couple more slots in my Ghana Woocation, okay? So I'm just going to remind you how you can join me for Woocation.
Woocation, the Ghana edition is here. I'm so excited, y'all. We are going to Dirty December in Ghana. Y'all know I have been talking your ears off about going to Ghana, and I am so excited to finally bring it to you. And we're going to do all the fun things that you saw me do when I went to Ghana 2 years ago, back to back, y'all. Please go to woocationinghana.sortedchalet.com to book your spot. You do not want to miss this because, baby, once it sells out, it sells out. I cannot help you. I cannot. All right. So I will see y'all in Ghana. Again, go to woocationinghana.sortedchalet.com, and I cannot wait to see you for Dirty December.
All right, y'all. Let's just get into it, okay? Because there's a lot that I want to get into regarding Chris Brown. First and foremost, the universe is working overtime, ain't it? Like the universe, I feel like the universe is running over, like she's working overtime. She is working overtime. Like my mother is doing her big one. She's doing her big one and she's letting y'all know, listen, hold on. Let me see if I can get this on here. Hold on. Okay, there it is. I woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Greets. This morning when I woke up, first of all, last night, I think it was like tomorrow. Yesterday afternoon, I remember seeing this from Chris Brown, Free Tory. Okay. Then this morning, I said, look it. Woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Made me some breakfast toast, 2 scrambled eggs. Greets. From Free Tory to yo ass going to jail. Whoa, jail. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So let's get into Chris Brown getting arrested. Child, not for hitting, but he got arrested. So I don't like Fox News. Chris Brown arrested over alleged bottle attack. The U.S. singer Chris Brown has been arrested in the U.K. in connection with a bottle attack at a London nightclub in 2023. Brown was arrested at a hotel in Manchester in the early hours of Thursday and held on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm to a music producer, Abe Dawa, at the Tape nightclub in Mayfair. The Sun said it became aware of Brown's presence in the UK on Wednesday, at which point it alerted the Met police. The Met said a 36-year-old man remains in custody. Representatives for Brown have been approached for comment. Now, is he performing out there? This is kind of crazy, like how you think you could just go back there and you didn't resolve this. Like, are you okay? But a lot of abusers, they have that type of entitlement. The Met spokesperson told the BBC 36-year-old man was arrested at a hotel in Manchester shortly after, I believe this is 2 a.m. So it'll be 2 a.m. on Thursday, 15 May, on suspicion of grievous bodily harm. He has been taken into custody where he remains. Hold on, y'all. I'm so sorry. Why is my dad texting me? This is, baby, you. The investigation is being led by detectives from the Central West Area Basic Command Unit. So Dow's claimed that Brown hit him over the head with a bottle before punching and kicking him as he lay on the floor. This is back in 2023. Let me go to the actual article. He hit me. Victim of alleged nightclub bottling in London. Nightclub names rapper Chris Brown as attacker. The victim of an alleged nightclub bottling involving rapper Chris Brown. Not rapper. Well, he do be rapping sometimes. It was him who hit me. The complaint, a music producer, was then punched and kicked as he laid on the ground. I'm sorry, the complainant. I'm trying to understand where this all stemmed from. So the alleged victim, who asked not to be named, but mind you, his name is now out. He told The Sun on Sunday, he hit me over the head 2 or 3 times. My knee collapsed as well. He's making out it was one of his entourage. Oh, but it was him. So I guess Chris Brown was making it seem as if it wasn't him. It was somebody in his crew. But he's confirming, no, it was him. I've spoken to the police and they hope to resolve the matter soon. It's now in the hands of my solicitor and I can't comment further. So I guess that would be his maybe attorney or just the police. The producer had been taken to the hospital, needing crutches to walk when he was discharged. So I guess like if there's a lawsuit or something, we'll get to see like what the full story was. But is anybody reading this and saying, oh, not Chris Brown? We're not shocked. Oh, y'all not seeing what I'm seeing. I'm just realizing that y'all are not seeing what I'm seeing. This is the article that I was reading. Okay. One thing I will say about Chris Ike Turner Brown, his hands are for everybody. He has equal opportunity hands. He lays his hands on everyone. Women, men. Has he done anything with dogs or animals? I don't know, but he seems like an equal opportunist. I have to give that to him. One thing about him, Chris Ike Turner Brown, his hands are for everybody. Okay. But anyway, so mind you, this comes right after he defended Tory Lanez. Ooh. Woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Grease. Now, this made me remember something. So I want to talk to you guys, especially now because, Cassie's on the stand. The Diddy trial is being tried right now. I wanted to bring something to you all's attention. Hold on. So there is this documentary that Chris Brown he's currently, I believe he's suing the ID channel. Hold on, let me go back. Hold on. Okay. So at the top of this year, Chris Brown filed a $500 million lawsuit against Warner Brothers, okay, over SA allegations in the documentary. The history, it's called Chris Brown, History of Violence, focus on the artist's history of legal troubles and alleged abuse against women. Now, I don't know if you guys have watched the documentary. I actually did when it came out. And actually, it's actually a very, very good documentary. Now, I find it interesting that he's only focusing on the essay portion, because there is like a very small documentary where there is a young lady who details how he allegedly essayed her. But also the bulk of the documentary, though, is about his history of violence. I don't even think the documentary covered this 2023 incident. But I just find it very interesting that, you know, he's suing this documentary, or suing Warner Brothers over this documentary that is highlighting his abuse, but yet he's currently in jail for abuse. Okay. But in that documentary, there is a section of the documentary that highlighted something that I don't think I knew before. Maybe some of you may know, but I didn't know before. Jasmine, thank you so much for your super chat. Chris Brown posted that after the driver bodyguard came out and said Kelsey did it in the press conference, stating that, I believe. Yes. Yeah. You're correct. There was a let me see. There was a press conference where I guess Tory's new reps are asking, you know, for Gavin Newsom to pardon him, and also in let me see if I could add this to the stage. But also I remember in the video they were saying that Tory's bodyguard overheard Kelsey say that she was the one that pum Megan, right? And my whole thing is all these revelations are happening years after the court case, right? And also, if that is the case, we all remember that he offered both Megan and Kelsey $1 million to keep quiet. And so why would he make that offer if he did not pum her? Yeah, hearsay at best. Like, why not say all the, like, why make that offer if you did not pum her? That's just, it's every time something new comes up, I'm just like, okay, I have to go back to the fact that you made an offer. I have to go back to the fact that you made an offer. Aside from everything else that happened, I have to go back to the fact that you made an offer. So yeah, so that's why Chris Brown said free Tory. Again, I will say, why make that offer? Mbak one. I would not. I just would not make that offer if I didn't pum her. Okay. Now, and mind you, these are things that Kelsey has said. These are things that Megan has said. Period. Now, I want to go to that documentary because, like I said, Chris is suing Warner Brothers for the documentary. When I saw that Chris got arrested, I went back to that documentary for whatever the reason. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this small part of the documentary where, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but there was a time when Diddy was showing heavy support for Chris Brown. Like, it was heavy support for Chris Brown. Let me see if I can play this. Ooh. Hold on.
Time.
Hold on. Okay. Just want to go back to this. This is Diddy on the Ellen Show. $1 million question. Why does Chris Brown still have Black women in a chokehold? Your guess is as good as mine. Let me say this. It's clear where I stand on Chris Brown, right? But let me say this. I feel that Chris Brown is literally one of the last stars that we have, for instance, that was truly morphed and groomed to be a star. Okay. Like the Chris Browns, the Rihanna, the artists from that era are the last truly A&R artists. Okay. Chris Brown has a lot of talent. I don't think that he's the best singer in the world, but he can sing. I don't think he's the best dancer. I think he does a lot of Mortal Kombat slash, I feel like he dances like he's a character in Mortal Kombat. But can I do the dances that he does? Absolutely not. I feel like his dance moves finish him. But can I do it? Absolutely not. I think that he has a lot of talent. And it's not just talent. It is A&R talent. Like he was truly groomed to be a star. And we don't have that anymore. Give me one male R&B singer since Chris Brown that can compete with Chris, Ike Turner, Mortal Kombat Brown. You can't. You can't. You can't. Artists are not being A&R'd anymore. They're not being vocally trained anymore. They're not being groomed to be stars anymore. So I do think that he is one of those last stars. You said Justin Bieber. Girl, Bieber is a pop star. And he no black. I'm talking about black, the black community. He no black. Bieber no black. Okay. Steve Lacy. And I'm not saying Steve Lacy's not good. I'm just saying, let's just be honest. Nobody has that star power anymore like the stars from that era. The stars from that 2009, 2010, everything after that, it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. We have SZA. You know what I mean? But she's not male. I'm talking about give me a male. Someone said Lucky Day. Again, give me somebody who has the star power of Chris Brown. You just can't. Like, and that's not me saying I support. I'm just saying musically, star power. Somebody said Usher. My God. Are y'all listening? I said the 2009, the 2009, the 2010, that those are the last eras. Why are we even comparing? When y'all be bringing up Usher versus Chris Brown, I never understand that. Usher is a phenomenon. Nobody tops Usher. I'm sorry, like Usher is a phenomenon. You put Usher and Chris Brown on the same. There are records. There's a record with Usher and Chris Brown on the same record. Chris Brown is not out singing Usher. He's not out dancing Usher either. What I'm saying is that era of music, that is the last era that really gave us superstars. I hope you guys understand. So for me, it just feels like especially within our community, the question was, why does Chris Brown still have black women in a chokehold? That is because within our community, Chris Brown is that last superstar as far as a vocalist is concerned, as far as a performer is concerned, that is male. That is my personal opinion. Okay, y'all just okay. Y'all just saying. Now this I can agree with. August Alsina. Now I don't agree with the Jada portion of what you said. But I definitely agree. August Alsina definitely could have got there. But I don't think it was Jada. I think it was his sickness. He was sick. He had a lot of health issues. I'm blessed to have him as a friend. But no, it was not Jada. It wasn't Jada. August got a lot of props for the Jada thing. It was Jada that got a lot of backlash for what happened. But okay. Somebody said some people were saying Jason Derulo. I just feel like when it comes to Jason Derulo, I feel like he's got. I don't feel like he has the black community or black women in a chokehold. Remember what the question was. Why does Chris Brown have black women in a chokehold? Just remember what the question is. Okay, but let's get to this. So Remember when everything happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna? This was Diddy. Okay. This was Diddy.
Give Chris, a guy who, a girl, you clearly have a lot of people going, why would you do that? Why would you give Chris, a guy who, a girl, and he's jet skiing around in your, I don't understand. Because, I mean, listen, I was a huge fan of Chris's. I love Chris, his music. He's a talented guy. But
just remember, at this time, like literally following what happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna, he was at Diddy house. He was down to Miami, jet skiing, you know what I mean? Like having a good old time.
To girl.
Yeah, because I know both of them, and it's my house. And I'm allowed to give my house to whoever I want to give my house to. That's number one. Number two is that I'm the type of person that I don't cast a stone or cast a judgment on anybody.
I just want y'all to hear what he's saying. Hear what he's saying.
And so if a friend or friends ask me for a favor, then I'm going to be there for a favor as long as I know that the energy of the favor is positive for two people to sit down and talk about a situation that they're in. I'm not going to get involved in it. I'm not going to pass judgment on it. If I could be there as a friend during hard times.
Thank you. Birds of a feather. Enabler. Okay? Y'all see where I'm going. The Black community doesn't care about abuse or to defend Black women. That goes to the question too that was asked too. Why does Chris Brown have Black women in a chokehold? Because the community doesn't care about the abuse of women, and let's just be honest, neither do Black women. And y'all gonna try to argue me down, but just look at all the comments when it's Meg Thee Stallion. Look at all the comments coming from Black women for Halle Bailey. We just got to be honest. We got to be honest. Black women don't care either. Just got to be honest.
And I'm going to be there as a friend.
Right.
But I don't know the exact particulars. I didn't get into it. I'm not going to do this or do that. It's a dark time for them, and I was there more as a support.
So when everything happened, right? Rihanna then was seen at Diddy's house. So first, there was Chris Brown having a good time at Diddy's house. Thank you so much for your super chat, Nwanga. Keep in mind, they both have daughters. Thank you so much. Okay. So Chris Brown was seen at Diddy's house having a good old time. And then all of a sudden, paparazzi was catching Rihanna there, right? And
at Diddy's house.
The documentary does a good job of dissecting that, and I want to play a little bit of it.
Spotted in Miami spending time together at Diddy's house.
Diddy is a rap mogul. He owns a lot of companies.
Chris, he has a history with Diddy. At around 12 years old, Chris had the opportunity, interestingly enough, to audition for Diddy.
Okay. So Chris Brown and Diddy have a history. Okay. They have a history. He didn't sign Chris Brown, right? But they have a history together since he was 12 years old. And so Chris now attacks Rihanna. And not only do we see Chris at Diddy's house, but now we're seeing Rihanna there. The documentary is on HBO Max.
Now, what's interesting about this is that when you listen to Diddy's account, he said that he invited Chris and Rihanna to come to his home to have some time to work through things.
Remember, this is what he said on the Ellen DeGeneres show, too, right? I invited them to come work things out at my home. What does that sound like? If you watch this documentary, it just relives the whole incident. They kind of treat Rihanna as, I don't want to say like victim number one, but kind of like Cassie, because she's the biggest victim that he's had. But they go throughout all these other alleged victims or whatever. But when you listen to that, what does that sound like? This is Rihanna. This is 2009. Rihanna's a big star, right? this man just did what he did to her. When I was watching the documentary, I heard details that I don't remember hearing from the beginning when this first happened, but this girl was threatened by this man. This man said that he was going to delete her. When he started hitting her, she immediately went like this, which should tell you this was something that had been happening. So she was in a very, very abusive situation, right? Why is Diddy stepping in here? I have so many questions about that. Rihanna is over at Roc Nation. She's under Jay-Z. So everybody was okay with this. I'm just like, it doesn't sound correct. And when I look at this from today's lens, especially while watching the Diddy trial, I am deducing that Rihanna was forced to make up with Chris. She was forced to make up with Chris. She was coerced to make up with Chris by folks like Diddy. If you go back, this is 2009, right? We've been listening to the Cassie trial. But when I was going over this, I said, this perked my ears up because, hold on, let me bring this up. Hold on. Give me one moment. Okay. This happened in 2009, right? When we go to Cassie's case that we're currently seeing play out, she gave a testimony, I believe it was yesterday, right? And shout out to People Magazine. They did, do this article that talked about bombshells that were, exposed. But remember, part of her testimony was she got emotional while recalling how Diddy taught her how to have oral. Okay. I wanted to be around Sean for the same reasons as everyone else at the time. This is exciting, entertaining. He's a fun guy who also happened to have my career in his hands. That's what she says. Ventura, who signed a 10-album deal with Combs. This is her first deal. First deal, 10 albums. Nobody signs a 10-album deal. So it's clear what he was wanting from Cassie, right? She also says, Sean taught me how. Wait, first of all, hold on, let me go back. Ventura, who signed a 10-album deal with Combs, Bad Boy Records in 2006, claimed that during the meetup, Combs introduced her to oral sex. This is 2006. What happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna happened when? 2009? Cassie was already 3 years deep into being his victim. So not only was Diddy doing what he was doing to Cassie, but he was also making sure that other abusers around him could continue to abuse whoever their victims were as well. That's why when you see men coming forth, but I understand. Remember, on the Ellen DeGeneres show, he said relationships get ugly. This is what he was doing to a 19-year-old. By the time she was 21, I believe that's when either 21, 22, she was freak-offs. He was already 3 years deep into Cassie being his victim. So, of course, he invited Rihanna and Chris Brown. Of course, he invited Chris Brown first, make sure he had a good time. Then he invited Rihanna and made sure that they were captured by paparazzi too. Who knows what dealings he's had with Chris? And going back to that too, again, I feel that Rihanna was coerced, not only by other abusers like Diddy, but also look at what's happening with Halle Bailey right now, right? When Chris did what he did to Rihanna, Rihanna had to deal with backlash as a victim. I know we all love Rihanna, y'all love Rihanna, but back then, if what happened with Chris and Rihanna happened today, y'all would give her the Meg Thee Stallion treatment. Y'all would give her the Halle Bailey treatment. She was getting it back then. She was getting it back then. She was getting backlash for being a victim. And so not only was she coerced, not only was she forced into making up with Chris Brown, but also it was a career thing because her career was at stake. Her career was at stake. Then she gets back with Chris and then she's, you know, good girl gone bad. Like her team did a really good job of flipping that. But at the center, that woman was coerced. Just wanted to have that conversation with you because when I saw the arrest and I saw the free Tory, I was like, oh my gosh. I thought back to the documentary. I thought back to that Ellen DeGeneres interview. And then I came back to her testimony from yesterday. And I'm like, oh my God. Cassie was already his victim. And let's just be honest. We all already knew there's no way that Cassie was his first victim, right? But Cassie was his Rihanna. Cassie stayed silent for a long time because what did she say he would do? He would blackmail her. Her career was at stake. So was Rihanna's. So was Rihanna's. So was Halle Bailey's, which is why we're just now finding out that even when she was pregnant, she was getting hands and feet put on her. And like justice for Kim Porter. And like someone said in my live yesterday, folks keep saying, oh, well, Cassie should have left. Cassie should have left. Cassie should have left. Kim Porter left and she's dead now. Kim Porter left. She's dead. You got Al B. Shore doing whatever. He's doing any podcast, any interview he can get for people to understand that was not an accident. What happened to her was not by nature. What happened to him was also, he's telling everybody that can give him an ear. What happened to him was done to him by Diddy. Kim Porter left. She's no longer with us. Everyday women leave abusive situations and then they have to leave the earth because of the wrath of their abusers. Just wanted to have that conversation with y'all. I'm going to go ahead and save this live. Also, I am going to come back at 6 o'clock for sure. We're going to talk about Halle Bailey and DDG. I have all my receipts lined up. I just been collecting. Oh, I'm so happy you said this. Femicide. I feel like femicide is a word we don't really use a lot in American culture. I feel like it's used a lot when we talk about other countries, especially like countries like India or even like I'm Haitian. Femicide is huge in Haiti. Huge in Haiti, where women are just deleted because they are women. Misogyny actually kills you. Misogyny actually kills. I've seen people say, oh, but what about, we don't like misandrous women. Misandry doesn't kill anyone. Misogyny does. All right, y'all. I love y'all for real. I'm going to save this and I'm going to be back at 6 o'clock and we'll talk about Halle and DDG. Make sure that you like the video and I'll see y'all in a bit.
I just turn the water on, big old flex, shit you never saw before.